I've just got one quick one. It's on thermal still, but one of the fears I have, I guess, is just the size of thermal. You know, like getting out of it and getting down if it gets hairy. Or can they be massive? Like, does it come a point where you're actually going to have to spiral to actually, get down?
There's so many clues you kind of don't realise you pick up as you're going along, like the size of the base. You know, if it's so big around the bottom that it's going to take you 10 minutes to get from the middle to the outside edge. If the air's being sucked up in there at, well, let's say it's going up at 10 meters a second, that's 40 kilometers an hour. So the air around the edges is coming in at maybe 30 kilometers an hour. And if you point your glider into that, you're only doing 10 kilometers an hour. So suddenly, and you're still going up. So all those little things come into saying, ooh, maybe I don't want to go near that one, versus something which is 500 meters across on the bottom, not too domed, nice gentle lift.
About clouds.
Cloud, sorry. And just the general shape of the cloud, whether it's kind of like that, in case it is building.
Yeah.
It's like that, it's decaying.
Yeah.
Because it's got a big broad base, but it's not really getting up and making a shape. So there's all those little things you pick up over time, but yes, you can get into a situation where you're just going along, and you want to be going down because you're reaching the cloud or you're reaching airspace, which is the Tassie wonder, unless you're in the southwest. And then first step, speed bar, speed bar big ears.
Still going up.
Now we have to start thinking about, the nice thing about speed bar and big ears is you can move yourself away from the thing that is causing the problem. Once you have to transition beyond that, then you're saying I now have to spiral, I have to put going down above getting out of the location. Any other thoughts?
Does it matter the order you do big ears, speed bar?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Cyril?
ears and then bar.
Yeah,
Because if you're on
the big ears, that's why I was confused.
Yeah, I guess if I'm on speed bar and things are
the risk, if it's like the same than using brake when you use speed bar. If you pull big ears when you use a speed bar, there is a risk of collapsing your entire glider. So you always use the ears and then you push the speed bar. And then you release in the same order. So you release the bar and then you release the ear.
Yeah. And there is another thing which they don't teach you in the course, which is big ears. So in the course you've got 2 A risers and then your outer ones that you pull on to do big ears. So in SIV courses you actually do a thing where you reach up and you grab the outer A's and the next ones in. So you only leave the centre A's and you pull those down, and suddenly your wing turns into this little triangle and you've got a third of your wing left, and it's actually like really stable. And I don't know why they don't teach it in courses, because it's seems to be quite safe. You have to go on full speed bar because you've got so little wing left. You need to decrease the angle of attack so it doesn't stall, because all of a sudden you're going down like this.
I can't say why we're not teaching that.
because of that exact moment of
Because we're flying 100 meters hill and if you do that you're on the ground.
Instead of just pulling this one, you're pulling
Pulling these two down. So basically you pull all of that part of your wing down and all of that, so you're only left with this bit.
So all the A's.
But normally when you pull,
No,
definitely not all the
you
A's.
still want at least 2 flying, otherwise you're just...
Does it take a lot of strength?
So pulling all the A's is a full frontal. So definitely don't do that, because you'll shit yourself first time. But yeah, these two here. So you fold up all of that part of the wing and just leave the centre bit. And on speed bar, you'll come down at like 8 meters a second. It's really efficient. But you don't have a lot of steerage. You can fully weight shift and you don't really, you can kind of still keep level, but with normal big ears, you just basically fold up the tips and then you can weight shift to steer. So you just pull them down, wrap them down, and then, you can kind of get out of.
I think what it comes down to is a whole portfolio of ways to get your wing to go down faster than 2 or 3 meters a second, and really depending on your comfort levels and your glider, because older gliders certainly They used to be able to do beelines, where you just grab all the beelines and pull them down. The wing would stall in this beautiful shape, and it was great to come down probably 5-6 meters a second, let go, and if it was going well, it would just go pop, and you fly away again. But some of the modern gliders, certainly my Epsilon, they don't recommend doing beelines. But on the other side of it, you know, spiral dive, and even not a spiral dive, but a you know, highly banked turn, just pre-spiral. That's what 5 meters a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a whole, you know, there's a whole series of ways in which you can get your glider to come down faster than it breaks up.
Did you ask because you experience a really big thermal that?
No, I haven't. It's just always been something that's,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one of the things is, like, if it is a strong thermal day in summer, just if you are going up in a really strong climb, plan early to get out of it, and just, even if you have to fly out the side into turbulent air and into the, like, because there'll be massive sink around it, and you might get a collapse as you leave, but it's better than getting just sucked up into a cloud. So just, yeah, get out early. And, you know, if it is a really strong day, just fly around low, and as soon as you get a thermal, do 3 or 4 turns in it and go, okay, cool, yeah, I've found the core, fly out, and then come, like, fly around, come back to it, get in it again, fly out. So you're not using that top part of the thermal that you might go into cloud or into airspace. And it's actually really good practice to go out, get lost, and then go back and find it again, and feel what the air's doing as you get close to it, and get practice at actually finding them.
That looks like a very lucky flight.
You're thinking that you're going to
Probably
get a
should have
collapse.
exited a bit.
Would you be
below.
better off going straight out and expecting a frontal, or going at an angle and trying to make it asymmetric?
Probably frontal,
Yeah.
go out straight, yeah. Just
And so, like,
punch out the side.
I've got an A
Because
glider.
I think they happen like that, and asymmetrics can kind of get folded and cravatted,
I
and
don't think it
It's-
could peak.
No,
when
Is-
you're going
I think they just go.
if your
like-
mental map is that good for the thermal, rip that.
But the main thing is, as you leave, just get ready on your brakes, and even pull like a tiny bit of brake on so that you can feel it, and you'll feel your wing go soft just before it collapses. And if you want to catch a collapse, don't be afraid to do that, like all the way under your ass, even with both hands.
Not hands up.
Just-
if it's like
yeah.
going forward,
If it's-
that same thing,
If you feel it go soft and you're starting to drop, you can go like that with both hands, as long as you don't hold
So
them
not
down.
hands up, essentially.
No,
Right.
yeah, punch it, like, and that will push all the air, because it's like bending the back of the wing, pushes all the air forward to pressurize it, and also pitches it up a little bit. So everything you're doing is stopping that
But
frontal
you go
collapse from
down
happening.
as far as you do when you're flaring, or like?
Yeah, but only briefly. Like, you just don't hold it, because then you'll stall. But you can just punch like that, and even if you need to punch again, you do it again. But yeah, as long as they bounce back up, it's fine. So yeah, and it can be like one side or the other, like if you're getting collapse. But yeah, yeah.
So just to finish on your question, usually we keep like a 45-degree angle with the edge of the cloud, and so when we thermal under a cloud, we just keep looking at the edge, and as soon as we feel like, so when you start, it's like it's basically above you, and then you feel like the edge is moving to the side, then you just start thermaling more on the side of the cloud, and then when you get closer, you can escape the clouds. So we don't thermal straight under a cloud if it's like right there, like if you're right under. If you're really close, like, yeah.
That's a good bit. I'd forgot. I couldn't remember how to articulate it, but the 45-degree cone saying, I'm not going inside that cone underneath the cloud on. Well, particularly as you approach it.
And
Well
so
done.
if it's accelerating, obviously you have to really make your circle like going away from the
Yeah.
Hey, Tim.
hay.
Our gliders move forward at 10 metres per second, but the lift under a cloud can be 10 metres per second. So if you're at 45 degrees, you can still make it out. But if you're in a 12 or 13 metres thermal, you need to leave earlier than 45 degrees. And even if you are in 5, you can get just under the cloud and it will just boost like in that last little bit, and you think you're okay, but it gets really strong right under, especially if it's really dark on the bottom. Yeah.
genuinely, we hope that as you kind of progress, that you don't experience a 10 metres per second thermal, and that the people that you go out with, you know, say, not now.
Yeah.
You know, that you.
I was just wondering how you can see that from like before you even launch, or how you would see how strong a thermal is, like
If you see
other than like
thunderstorms.
looking at the cloud or looking at what's moving below, I guess.
Yes,
Like
every
dust or-
this before you even go out, the day, you know, the day before, when you're looking at the instability, because the kind of the height of the column of where air will stop going up is directly related to the strength. So if they're going to go up to 8,000 meters, it's going to be a ripper of a day. If it's a thermal that's going to stop at maybe 1,100 meters at Winton, then yeah, you might get some strength, but it won't be up in the ridiculously strong. And then you start looking at the shapes of the clouds and what they're cauliflowering, if you
In
ask,
Tassie,
and ask people.
in Tassie in particular, if you're standing on launch and it goes calm, and then it goes and really windy, and then it goes calm, and then it, like 10 minutes later it goes really windy, or 5 minutes later, that's a strong thermal day. So they're really like building up really strongly, and when they go, they're just sucking heaps of air up with them, and you know that it's going to be really strong up high. But if it's just like, you know, you feel, oh, it's like the wind's just backed off a little bit, and oh, it's just got a little bit stronger, you know, if it's just little fluctuations, that's like usually weaker thermal days. Okay, yeah. And if you see them in the grass, like sometimes you'll see the swirls in the grass, those are strong days. And yeah.
And the worst thing about the kind of seasons is that spring is when you get the biggest differential, so that's when you get the strongest, most kind of turbulent thermal, shall we say, whereas
Yeah.
the autumn, where the air mass and the ground is all kind of reaching some form of equilibrium and things are starting to die down, then you get thermals, but they tend to be a bit softer and a bit, you know, fluffier. So spring is a time when you do have to, you know, when you think, oh yeah, let's go flying. But here in Tassie, you can, you know, with the Sentinels being on the cards, then you can thermal right through the winter.